You call it harmless. God calls it a warning sign. There's a letter buried near the end of the New Testament, just 3 short chapters, where Paul tells a young pastor named Titus exactly which everyday habits quietly rot a person from the inside out. Not murder, not theft, the small stuff, the stuff you do before breakfast. And by the end of this video, you're going to recognize at least 3 of them in your own life. Before we go further, comment amen if you've never actually read the book of Titus all the way through. Most people haven't. It's easy to skip. It's also one of the most convicting letters Paul ever wrote.
Here's the scene. Paul left Titus on the island of Crete to organize the church there, appoint leaders, fix what was broken, straighten out what was crooked. And almost immediately, Paul stops and says something blunt. The people of Crete have a reputation. Liars, lazy, always chasing their appetites. He even quotes one of their own poets back at them. Cretans are always liars. That's not Paul being harsh for no reason. That's Paul naming a culture that had normalized rot so completely nobody inside it could see it anymore. And that's exactly why this letter matters today, because habits don't feel dangerous from the inside, they feel normal. So Paul writes a list, 5 habits that look innocent on the surface but corrode everything underneath. Let's go through them one at a time. The first one is empty talk. Titus 1:10, Paul warns about people who are full of meaningless talk. Not lies necessarily, just words with nothing behind them. Compliments you don't mean, promises you don't intend to keep, opinions you share just to fill silence, just to seem interesting, just to avoid an awkward pause. It feels harmless because nobody gets hurt in the moment. Nobody's crying, nobody's suing you. But Paul's point is this: your words are supposed to carry weight. They're supposed to mean something when they leave your mouth. Every time you speak without meaning it, every "we should hang out sometime" you never intend to follow through on, every "I'm praying for you" you forget the second you say it, you train yourself to mean nothing. And the scary part is, that training doesn't stay contained to small talk. Eventually, it bleeds into the big talk too. The vows, the apologies, the "I love you." Read that again. Second habit, stirring division. Titus chapter 3 tells the church to avoid foolish controversies and quarrels because they are unprofitable and worthless. Now, Paul isn't saying disagreement is sin. He's not saying you have to agree with everyone to be a good person. Not every disagreement is division. But you know the habit, the comment that pokes at someone just to see them react, the group chat message that quietly starts aside, the gossip dressed up as just being honest or just looking out for you. That's not honesty, that's entertainment at someone else's expense. Paul doesn't say avoid conflict, he says avoid the ones you start on purpose, for sport, because they make you feel sharp or important for 5 minutes. That's the part that costs you, because division you enjoy causing has a way of coming back around to divide something in your own life eventually. Third, and this one stings, Titus 1:16. Paul describes people who claim to know God but by their actions deny Him. You can say all the right things on a Sunday and still run a completely different life Monday through Saturday. You can post the verse and still gossip about the person 2 pews over. You can raise your hands in worship and still lie on your taxes. The habit isn't hypocrisy as some big dramatic betrayal, the kind that makes headlines. It's smaller than that, which is exactly why it's so dangerous. It's the daily gap, the quiet, boring, unnoticed gap between what you post and what you practice, between what you claim and what you actually choose when nobody's watching. Paul says that gap is where your soul actually lives, not in your words, not in your Instagram bio, in the gap.
Fourth habit is idleness disguised as rest. Titus 3:14 says believers must learn to devote themselves to doing what is good in order to provide for urgent needs and not live unproductive lives. Paul isn't talking about laziness in the lazy Sunday afternoon sense. Rest isn't the enemy here. He's talking about something quieter, knowing exactly what's right, feeling the pull to do it, and simply not. Letting the good intentions sit there. The text you meant to send, checking on a friend. The apology you meant to make. The habit you meant to break starting Monday, except Monday keeps moving. None of that feels like sin in the moment. It feels like delay. But delay repeated enough times becomes a lifestyle. And that's one of the quietest ways a person goes numb. Not through one big failure, but through 1,000 small postponements. And the fifth one is the most dangerous, because it doesn't feel like anything at all. Titus 1:15, Both their minds and consciences are corrupted. Not broken all at once, not one dramatic collapse. Corrupted, slowly, one small ignored nudge at a time. Every time you feel that quiet internal flinch, the one that says, "This isn't right, you shouldn't say that, don't send that message, walk away from this," and you override it anyway, it gets a little quieter the next time. Do that enough times, across enough small decisions, and one day it stops speaking altogether. And here's the part that should actually scare you. You won't get a warning when it happens. You won't feel your conscience go silent. You'll just notice one day, far down the road, that things used to bother you that don't anymore, and you won't remember exactly when that changed.
Paul didn't write to Titus to scare him. He wrote because he knew habits are easier to catch early than to undo late. He wasn't writing about people who'd already fallen apart. He was writing about ordinary people in an ordinary place doing ordinary things that quietly added up. So here's the uncomfortable question to sit with. Not answer out loud, not perform for anyone. Which one of these 5 did you recognize yourself in? Not the one that's easiest to admit, not the one you'd confess in a group setting to look humble, the one you almost skipped past while I was talking. That one. If this one hit different, comment which habit convicted you the most and where you're watching from.